All right, so I have the goal, I have my desire. Obviously, there's going to be some major revelation that changes her desire or makes her desire stronger, gives her more reason to continue, and that is she finds out that there is such a thing as an eater of souls, and that he's going to keep eating souls, and maybe all of her people and Cloud's people. And now she, by this time she starts to like Cloud and so cares about what happens to him and his people. Yeah, so once that revelation happens, that gives her more reason. Now she's like saving the world perhaps because she finds out from the gods that is she ends up having to go on a journey to the gods to find the answer on how to stop this because she realizes that she has to meet some other character. Some other character she meets up with, I'm not sure who this is going to be yet, tells her that, this is not going to be answered by anybody here, no medicine men. You need to go to the gods. Like, what? We never go to the gods. Elves don't go to the gods. I mean, no one goes to the gods. I mean, that's like a huge, it's, because the gods live on top of this huge mountain, and it's very dangerous, and no one recently in history has gone to the gods and came back alive. So everyone that's gone to see the gods never came back. And they just assume they died. And so you don't want, gods is like your last resort because, there are legends that people have come back alive and, they came back with some super answer or power or something and they helped their people. And I haven't thought of what these legends are going to be yet, but I'll end up sharing a few of them in the story in the novel. Okay, so also, I have a bunch of characters, opponents, and stuff I start to think about. I think of little scenes, little conflicts that they'll have to run into, cool heightened action scenes. And so I've developed a lot of characters and stuff to do that, to give them cool scenes. Like that crazy guy with the arms growing out of his head. He's like a part of his species, and he's like a loner. He's like the black sheep of his species. But his species are in trouble, and they can't get to the water, and they love the water, but they haven't been able to enjoy the water for the longest time because there's this electric eel lady. She's like half electric eel, half lady. So sort of like a centaur, but instead of her lower half being a horse, it's an electric eel. And she lives in the water and occupies it. And if you go, it's very dangerous because if she senses that you're there, or if she happens to be anywhere near your vicinity, she shocks the water, shocks you, and she takes you underground to her cave where, she eats you or something. Anyway, so I know that, there's some characters like that I've developed, and so I just kind of start plugging in some of these parts here, but I really want to have this main structure before I, start going into plotting it all. But I need to have all these things plugged in before I start plotting. Or I do think of little plots here and there, like I said, but mainly I figure out what all these are first. So I need a theme. What can my theme be? Well, I know that at the end, she defeats... In the end, and I write down all notes and stuff where I don't forget as I'm going through, and developing my outline and stuff. And definitely as you go through this process, you write down notes so you don't forget little cool things. Okay, so I know the goal. She somehow has to get the super lightning power, and the gods are going to have something to do with that. As she goes on this whole journey, brings out her courage and strength, and helps her to start use her powers more and more. But the gods, when she finally makes it to the top and visits the gods, that's when, they help her truly realize her power and potential and tell her, what she's going to need to do to really become her true powerful self to defeat this thing, and that she'll have to do that. And that, so she remembers their words and what they say and, doesn't believe them, but finally gets the courage and does it at the end and defeats him. But okay, so I need a theme then. What could the theme be? I'm thinking, so there's that incest kind of theme. That's kind of interesting, where if I decide to go with that her lost father, or her father that ran away, whatever, turns out to be Cloud's father too. So they turn out to be half brother and sister. And it was that's why he left, because it was a forbidden marriage, and that's why her mother never told her about him, because he's a water elf, and so they were in a forbidden relationship and couldn't be together. So at the end, when you find out that who he is, you kind of feel sympathetic towards them, and you don't feel like you don't really feel bad. You don't feel like he's a bad person because he had to run away because of they don't get along. So it wouldn't have worked out unless they like totally ran away together or something and left their families, and they didn't want to both leave their families and stuff. So anyway, I could kind of build that theme and make it to where that, I don't know, that's not really a theme though. I can't really build on that too much. Besides, it's not revealed till the end, but that sometimes, then the theme could be that sometimes the person you think you love is actually a better friend than a lover. That's the theme. Because the whole time as they start to fall for each other, and they have that awkward kissing moment towards the end, and then they realize their brother and sister and like, ew, we kissed. But anyway, so that the theme could be, or one of the themes could be, if I go with that, is that love isn't always what it seems to be. Sometimes when you really care about someone and you're with that opposite sex, that sometimes that love you're feeling between each other is not love, but it's a developing close, really powerful close friendship, and which is rare, to have that really powerful close friendship like that in the opposite sex. So maybe that could be one of the themes, or maybe even the main theme. And whatever I decide the theme is, I need to hint at it and drive it through as the story goes, like build scenes that build upon that theme. Another theme I can go with would be how the story ends with her power, that it takes courage and strength inside of yourself. It's not outside. If you want to overcome your shyness and get courage and get the strength to defeat your bullies, defeat those that make fun of you, to finally stick up for yourself. Even if you can't defeat them physically, you want to at least stick up for yourself and say, hey, leave me alone, or something. And to find that courage is only within yourself. It's when you see yourself differently, because she sees herself differently. She has this like change of view of herself, and it's only when she's able to see herself differently, see her how Cloud sees her, that she can finally, and how the gods see her, that she can finally dive into her strength and use it properly, and that's when she could get really strong. So the theme then could be that courage is found by seeing yourself correctly. When you change your view of yourself, then you can become courageous. So that sounds like a cool theme. I think I might go with that theme, make that my main underlining theme, and work on it throughout my scening. But the reason why theme is so important is this is your opportunity to tell the world about the human condition, something that you believe about the human condition. It's a chance to share with the world something, and you don't have to do it outrightly. Like, matter of fact, you never want to preach. You never want to just outright preach your point of view to your readers. You never want them to feel like, hey, this person is just preaching at me, just telling me his views on life and this certain subject or whatever. So you want to be subtle about it and have it be an integral part of the story. And how you do that is by knowing your theme before you start plotting out your story, before you start doing this part here, plugging all these parts of the story in, your outline. That way, you're strengthening that theme throughout the whole story. And it's organically, it's naturally part of the entire story, the entire structure. And then you want people to maybe offer their different views on the theme. That's important. Is once you know what your theme is, you want to look at it from different viewpoints, and so have other characters and other scenes that turn that point of view around and view it differently. If you had a theological type of theme where does God exist or not, then you'd want different characters offering their point of view and their arguments for it. Maybe one character is offering his point of view that yes, God exists, and other character is offering that no, it doesn't exist. And by the end, how you end the story, and you really want it revealed just by action, not by somebody saying something. But sometimes there's no other way to do it. But don't have them say it outright. Have them hint at it so that the people have to figure out. And then by the end of the story, how you end the story determines whether God exists or not. Let's say some miracle thing happens and it makes it look like God exists. Then you've answered the theme. The theme is yes, God exists, but you haven't outright said it. Okay, that's this part. Come back for the next one.